Hello and welcome to J.P. Murray's Association Hustle podcast. President of the Murray Company, JP's mission is to arm today's associations with insight and strategy to thrive in a progressively complex and competitive business landscape. 21st century associations must move forward with a little bit of hustle and revenue development at their core. Here's JP.
Yes, I am JP Murray with the Murray Company. Welcome to Association Hustle. For those of you that are regular listeners, I have a special offer at the end of today's podcast, so hang with me over the next several minutes. Observation today is about membership renewal. We're seeing a fast conversion to the most important membership year in the history of our association industry. Why is that? Well, we've had contraction in our industry. We've had a lot of mergers and acquisitions. We're having companies that are coming out of a recession in our association businesses. Non-dues revenue is uncertain or reduced. If you look at the ASAE operating ratio study, the average association brings in anywhere between 30 to 40% of their revenue from meetings and events. That gross revenue is reduced clearly because we're in a virtual format. Some of them are being very successful. We're making money with them. We're maybe even netting more money than we used to. But the fact of the matter is we're not bringing in the volume and the gross revenue that we were before. So all of that is affecting our business model, which makes membership renewal that much more important. If you look at the Marketing General study, average association is around a 90% renewal rate. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw at least a 10% reduction in that renewal rate next year, somewhere around 80%. So my point here is association renewal is very important for 2021 and beyond. We also have this happening, layoffs in the association industry. If you read CEO Update or Axios or Politico, you're probably monitoring some of these layoffs and cutbacks that these associations are making right now. I get calls from execs right now looking for their next deal. And I'm seeing it with the distribution of our e-newsletter. You know, every other week we send an Association Hustle e-newsletter, and I'm getting a lot of out-of-office reports that say I'm no longer with the association. So all of this is affecting the ability for us to develop and implement a good membership renewal or recruitment program because a lot of these people were in charge of that function. My point to you today is this may be the most important work that you do this year. What I'm starting to see is onboarding, renewal, engagement, and recruitment are part of a more holistic membership development plan. We used to look at maybe two things, recruitment and renewal. Recruitment and renewal. They had separate seasons, they had separate methodologies, and what I'm seeing right now is a much more synergistic, holistic way of approaching membership. In the last several months, my goodness, we've been delivering value in a variety of different formats. Zoom calls, webinars, e-newsletters, podcasts, video. We're probably communicating with more people in your industry than maybe you ever have. We also are facing, I think, what people are calling a K recovery. That may affect renewal and recruitment efforts. Some of our businesses and our membership segments may be doing better than others, and we've got to realize that when we go into the renewal and recruitment process in particular. Now, I don't think that should stop us from asking. The old adage of don't say no for someone else, absolutely in play here. I can't even begin to assume what's happening in a company. Small businesses have needed resources regarding the PPP loan acquisition, and now they're seeking resources on forgiveness and other real survival tools. Every one of your members recognize the value of advocacy now, probably more than they ever have from your association. Surprisingly, a trend has also continued toward what I would call membership modernization. Doing a lot of projects right now on segmented value propositions for different groups, introducing new dues levels, maybe even introducing new membership segments because these associations are pulling in with their content and their education and their advice different companies than they used to have. Some of them are in totally different parts of the supply chain. Mergers and acquisitions are going to be accelerated in your membership groups and among associations. That is absolutely going to happen. the association members are going to be picking and choosing which associations they choose to remain a part of. And we know that most companies that join associations are often members of multiple organizations. I think this is the year they may decide which they're going to stay a part of and which is no longer viable to them. That is absolutely going to happen. Virtual meeting format has become the norm. I think it's viable long term, and that is not bad. We have improved data on our content preferences of our members. There's a narrative out there that people are not as engaged in an online formatted meeting than an in-person meeting. Are you kidding me? The last several meetings that I attended, gosh, I was probably working on my computer on just general work and not paying attention to the meeting. So I don't know how people are evaluating this in-person engagement, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of upside for the virtual meeting format, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity in 2021 to hold both types of formats for our members, because I think they both have qualities that have major upsides. Basically, I see another trend, and that is the value of the local and regional organization. I think they were challenged in our previous environment. Now, national groups that have a federated structure where you can tie together a local, state, national organization in a fairly seamless value proposition, man, I tell you what, I like that idea. Because people are probably going to be traveling to in-person meetings closer. They may not be getting on a plane for a while. They're going to be driving to their local chapter and stuff. So if you got some really good relationships there, you've got some consistency in terms of the quality and the deliverables, man, I think a federated structure has some possibilities. So as you think about renewal for next year, what I would encourage you to do is kind of mimic one of our friends at the National Waste Recycling Association. Hope they don't mind that I'm talking about them. They've been great partners of ours. These are the organizations that pick up your trash, and they recycle it. They've got an infographic that shows all of the wins that they've had in the industry for the last year, all of the communications that have been sent to the federal government, letters to state and local government, the number of press releases that they've distributed, the number of mentions in the media, the number of people that they've reached by messaging, all of these different formats, how many social media posts they've put out advocating for the industry, the number of teleconferences that they have held for chapters, how many webinars they've conducted on behalf of the members, and the number of attendees that have been participating. You must tell your members the story, and they've done it with this infographic. It's been an absolute winner in terms of demonstrating what the association has done during this pandemic. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, some people are going to make the argument, well, you would have done that anyway. Really? And if you think that we are going to do this for you as a non-member, if you don't renew, you have another thing coming. Not only are we going to do this kind of work for your company, if you choose not to join, we're going to do it for your competitors. We're going to do everything that we can to make them successful. I would also recommend a plan every month, and it includes these items. Basically, what's the theme? What's the theme and member service that you're going to promote? And do you have the opportunity to demonstrate it through a webinar or a briefing or something like that? So every month you have a theme, then you have an invoicing plan, you have an email campaign plan, you have a social media campaign that targets your industry and the membership, you have possibly a mail campaign, a personal letter writing effort. And then a phone campaign with volunteers, staff, or maybe even outsourced membership pros. I know a few of them helping you through the process. Every single month, those 5 components are in place. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, it's the biggest year ever for membership, and one I think you can succeed in if you plan for it. Best wishes, and I've got a special offer. If you send me a personal email, I would be pleased to distribute to you a free copy of Association Hustle. Email me at jp@murraycompany.com. I look forward to hearing from you and sending you your free copy of Association Hustle. Talk soon.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of JP Murray's Association Hustle podcast. We'd love to connect with you. Check out our blogs at murraycompany.com and subscribe to our weekly newsletter. You can also connect with JP on LinkedIn and Twitter at JP Murray, as well as the Murray Company's Instagram and Facebook page. To purchase a copy of JP's book, Association Hustle, top strategies for association growth. Go to jpmurray.com.